Have you ever noticed how your mind sometimes feels louder than the world around you? You lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying the same thought again and again. What if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if they judge me? This is the voice of overthinking. It's the silent thief of peace, the enemy of action, the architect of sleepless nights, and the root of suffering that doesn't even exist yet. Psychologists estimate that the average person has around 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day. What's shocking is that over 90% of them are repetitive, the same worries, doubts, and mental chatter recycled from yesterday. These aren't fresh insights pushing us forward. They're echoes keeping us stuck in circles. Instead of fueling growth, they drain energy. Instead of preparing us for the future, they trap us in imaginary storms. Today, I want to tell you a story about a man who was consumed by overthinking until a surprising encounter changed everything. Stay with me until the end, because this story may just help you put down your own invisible burdens. Before we dive deep into what's ahead, pause, and like this video, subscribe to help us reach our 1,000 subscriber milestone. Now let's get in. The Worried Man. In a quiet village nestled between rolling green hills lived a farmer named Daniel. He was kind, hardworking, and respected by his neighbors. But Daniel had one problem. He worried about everything. When he planted seeds, he feared they wouldn't grow. When his children walked to school, he imagined accidents along the road. At night, he lay awake rehearsing disasters that had never happened. The villagers teased him, calling him, even on clear, sunny days, Daniel carried an umbrella, just in case. What he didn't realize was that his life was not shaped by real events. It was shaped by the endless movies playing in his head, scenes of failure, rejection, and catastrophe that rarely, if ever, came true. The turning point. One warm evening, Daniel sat outside his home, staring into the distance with furrowed brows. His neighbor, an elderly monk named Ravi, happened to pass by. Ravi noticed Daniel's troubled expression and stopped. "Tell me, Daniel," he asked gently, "why does your brow carry more weight than your hands?" Daniel sighed. "Master, I worry because life is uncertain. If I don't think of every possibility, how will I be safe?" The monk smiled knowingly and said, "Let me tell you a story. The story of two travelers." The story of the two travelers. Long ago, two men set out to cross a desert. The first carried only a small flask of water. He walked lightly, enjoying the journey. The second carried heavy bags full of food, tools, clothes, and extra water. As the sun rose higher, the man with the heavy load slowed down. His back ached, his feet burned, and his mind filled with worries. What if the water runs out? What if a storm comes? What if I need something I didn't bring? Meanwhile, the man with only a flask walked calmly. He trusted he would find what he needed along the way. His lightness allowed him to notice the desert sky, the shifting sands, and the cool breeze on his face. At the end of the journey, both men reached the same village, but one arrived bitter, exhausted, and broken. The other arrived refreshed, grateful, and at peace. Ravi looked at Daniel and said, "Overthinking is like carrying heavy bags. You believe you are preparing for life's journey, but in truth, you're only exhausting yourself before the real challenges even arrive." Daniel reflects. Daniel's silence wasn't just about Ravi's words. It was the weight of years of carrying invisible loads. Fear of the unknown future, constant doubts about his abilities, and the endless spiral of what-ifs had shaped his inner world. What Ravi was teaching him, however, wasn't mystical. It was practical and rooted in both wisdom and science. Neuroscience has long confirmed that the brain is not fixed. It adapts through what is called neuroplasticity. This means the more someone entertains anxious thoughts, the stronger those mental circuits become. But the reverse is also true. By practicing gratitude, mindfulness, and calm routines, people can literally rewire their brains toward peace. Monks dedicate hours to meditation for this very reason. It isn't escape, but brain training. Daniel realized he didn't need a miracle cure, just small, steady choices like journaling, breathing deeply, or starting mornings with gratitude. Over time, these habits loosen the grip of mental baggage, teaching the mind to set down fear and pick up peace instead. Breaking the chains of overthinking. Living in the present, Ravi's words highlight a truth that both ancient wisdom and modern science recognize. Most of our mental suffering doesn't come from the present. It comes from obsessing over the past or worrying about the future. By training the mind to focus only on the moment at hand, we interrupt the cycle of overthinking. Psychologists call this, and studies from institutions like Harvard and Oxford show that it lowers stress, improves emotional regulation, and even reshapes parts of the brain linked to anxiety. This practice is not new. Buddhist monks have been teaching it for centuries, encouraging people to just walk when walking, just eat when eating. What makes it fascinating is how universal it is. Whether in a monastery or a therapist's office, the principle is the same. Presence is power. Daniel's experience of savoring tea is a perfect example of this shift. Instead of his mind spiraling about his failing crops, he tapped into his senses. The smell of the leaves, the warmth in his hands, the sound of the wind. That simple shift reminded him that in this very moment nothing was wrong. The storm lived in his thoughts, not in reality, and in realizing that, he discovered peace, appointing a time for worry. Ravi continued, "If worries come, don't fight them. Fighting thoughts only gives them power. Instead, give them a home, 15 minutes each evening, write them down. Then close the book and live freely." This advice mirrors what cognitive behavioral therapists call, by containing anxiety within a specific time slot, the brain learns not to hijack the rest of the day. Daniel tried it. And as he read back his worries, he realized almost all of them never happened. His mind had been spinning storms from thin air, action over inaction. Overthinking thrives in stillness, Ravi said. When you only think and never act, your energy circles endlessly in your head, but action breaks the loop. Neuroscience supports this. Taking action triggers which quiets the brain's threat response. Even small steps can reduce anxiety. Daniel began fixing a fence and planting seeds he had delayed. He discovered that movement clears fog faster than thought. The 5-4-3-2-1 rule. When the mind is trapped, Ravi instructed, count backward, 5-4-3-2-1, then move. This mirrors a modern technique popularized by author Mel Robbins. It interrupts rumination and pushes the brain toward immediate action. Daniel used it the next time he worried about visiting a neighbor. Instead of rehearsing conversations endlessly, he counted down and went. The meeting was simple, natural, and effortless. Replacing what if with even if, change your language, Ravi urged. Don't say, what if I fail? Say, even if I fail, I will learn. This transforms fear into courage. Research shows that reframing thoughts changes how the brain processes them. By shifting perspective, uncertainty becomes growth, not doom. Daniel whispered, even if my crops don't sell today, I can try again tomorrow. And instantly he felt lighter, reducing mental noise. The mind reflects what it consumes, Ravi warned. Reduce gossip, negative news, endless scrolling. Feed your mind with silence, wisdom, and beauty. Today, neuroscientists confirm this. Constant exposure to negative media increases cortisol, the stress hormone. In contrast, uplifting stories, books, and nature lower stress and restore balance. Daniel tried it. He limited idle chatter and the daily flood of bad news. Slowly his mind grew calmer, trusting the process. Finally, Ravi said, life is not meant to be fully controlled. Like the farmer who plants bamboo, results are hidden at first. For years, nothing grows above the soil, but deep beneath, roots are spreading wide. Trust that your efforts are taking root, even when you cannot see them. This echoes a principle in psychology known as the ability to wait for unseen results, which is strongly linked to long-term success and happiness. For Daniel, it was a revelation. He realized that his need for certainty had blinded him to life's hidden rhythms. Transformation weeks passed, then months. Slowly, Daniel put down his invisible bags. He laughed more with his children. He slept without fear. He noticed the orange glow of the sunset, the chorus of crickets at night, the little joys that once slipped by unnoticed. The villagers who once mocked him as the man who worries before the rain began to admire his calmness. Some even came to him for advice. How did you change? They asked. Daniel would smile gently and reply, I stopped living in storms that never came. Overthinking doesn't protect us from tomorrow, it only steals today. And so, the man once consumed by worry became a quiet teacher of peace. Lessons for us. All overthinking drains energy without solving problems. Psychologists call it rumination, replaying fears and what-ifs that heighten stress. Research links it to anxiety, insomnia, and weakened immunity. Ancient wisdom and modern CBT agree thoughts shape emotions. The mind imprisons with endless loops or guides when disciplined into purposeful action. A gentle challenge. So, my friend, what worry will you put down today? What heavy bag will you choose to leave by the roadside? Because remember this, life is not about eliminating uncertainty. It's about learning to walk lightly, step by step. When you let go of the endless what-ifs, you make space for what is. And sometimes what is right here, right now, is more beautiful than you ever imagined. So stay present, stay grateful, and above all, keep walking lightly.